Good afternoon. I'm going to call this meeting of the Encinitas Housing Authority to order. It is June 22nd, 5:30, right on the dot. So let's call this meeting to order. And Madam Board Clerk, will you call this, will you do a roll call for us?
Absolutely. Tenant Commissioner Moeller.
Present.
Tenant Commissioner Williams. She is present. She's indicating she is here. Commissioner Hinsey.
Here.
Commissioner Kranz.
Here.
Commissioner Lyons.
Here.
Vice Chair Mosca.
Here.
And Chair Blakespear is absent. The record will show that all members are present with the exception of Chair Blakespear. And please note that Encinitas Housing Authority members receive an independent stipend of $50 for convening Housing Authority meetings pursuant to Housing Authority Resolution number 94-04.
So before we get started, we may want to help the housing commissioner there, just make sure she can unmute herself, just in case she wants to speak. We want to allow her to be able to contribute.
IT Karen, if you can hear, can you unmute the Carnation Room?
All right, so let's, we have a couple items on our agenda. So let's go to our agenda. H1, which is our first agenda item, is approval of minutes of the March 18th, 2020 special meeting. And if there's no questions or comments on this item, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Let's vote.
And we will do roll call vote. Tenant Commissioner Mueller.
Yes.
Tenant Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Hinsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Kranz.
Yes.
Commissioner Lyons.
Yes.
And Vice Chair Mosca.
Yes.
And noting that Chair Blakespear is absent, motion carries unanimously.
Great, that moves us to H2, our second agenda item. And what we have before us is a contract with Hyder and Company for property management services and maintenance of 16 Encinitas Housing Authority owned condominium units at Pacific Pines. And the staff person who's going to lead this discussion is management analyst Nicole Piano-Jones. So it's you have the floor, Nicole.
And Vice Chair Mosca, before Nicole starts, I just wanted to let you know that Tenant Commissioner Mueller does reside at Pacific Pines, so she will be recusing herself from this item.
All right.
Good to see everyone. Thank you for letting me come see you. It's been a long time. May everyone stay healthy and well, and thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. And it's nice to see the doggy there.
Oh,
he's always in your arms. I never actually see him walking.
Yeah, he walked in here. He's, he just loves his home and he loves you guys and he wants to say thank you.
Well, we love you too. Thank you so much for serving.
Absolutely. I wish I could be here. All I can say is everything has been really well over at Pacific Pines.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Stay well.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just have a brief presentation for us tonight. Good evening, Vice Chair Mosca, commissioners, and members of the public. I'm Nicole Piano-Jones. I'm a management analyst in the housing division here in Development Services. And I'm presenting the second item on the agenda, which is the request for consideration and approval of a contract with Hyder and Company for property management and maintenance services at Pacific Pines for the 16 units that the Housing Authority owns. So I'll just provide a little bit of background and the context for our discussion. The Pacific Pines community consists of about 184 residential units. It was built in the 80s under the San Diego County Authority. And the community began as apartments until 2003 when the owner decided to do a condo conversion. At that same time, the property's affordability restrictions were expiring. So the city of Encinitas sprang into action and leveraged available grant funding to preserve the affordability of 18 units, of which 2 were sold to low-income qualified home buyers and 16 were purchased by the city to retain as rentals. The city of Encinitas then transferred ownership to the Encinitas Housing Authority, which has been the approval body for the property, for matters concerning the property ever since then. Periodically, staff will perform a solicitation for services. We've retained a property manager since we've taken ownership in 2004. In 2016, we did a RFP in which Hyder and Company was approved. And so we have been working with them since then. Their request for proposals is a new contract. So their existing contract is shown in attachment 2, which was extended and amended from 2016 until now. And so what we're proposing is a new contract, which would be effective July 1, and that's reflected in attachment 1. Important to note that there's no proposed changes to the nature or delivery of their services, but there is a notable change to the budget, which is found on page 15 of the agenda report. As noted, we've been working with Hyder since 2016, and they just had one instance where they increased their fee, and it was at a rate of approximately 7.7%. And as we all know, a lot has changed over the last couple of years, especially, and this budget reflects some of those new realities. So there's an initial increase of approximately 20% in their management fee and a 3% increase thereafter, annually thereafter. And we did anticipate that there would be an increase to the management fee, which we incorporated into the budget, which was approved by the City Council last week, June 15th, 2022. But the proposed fee is just slightly above what we anticipated. And so staff is not requesting a budget amendment or additional funds at this time, but we are requesting that the executive director authorize a transfer of $2,000 between the same account in order to cover that additional fee increase. And that is concludes my presentation, and we are available to answer any questions. And we also have representatives from Hyder joining us tonight as well.
Any questions for Nicole?
No questions.
All right, Kathy, do we have any public comment on this item?
No, we do not.
All right, well, if there is no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I would move approval.
Do we have a second? All right, so we have a motion by Councilmember Kranz and a second by, Board Member Kranz and a second by Board Member Lyons. Let's vote.
Tenant Commissioner Mueller is absent due to a recusal. Tenant Commissioner Williams?
What am I,
You're voting to authorize the executive director in consultation with the city attorney to sign a contract in substantial form with Hyder and Company, and to also authorize the executive director to approve a fund transfer within the same category to cover the increase in management fees.
okay. And what is the appropriate answer, or, the,
Oh, yeah, yes or no?
yes, okay.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Hinsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Kranz,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyons,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Mosca.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously with Tenant Commissioner Mueller absent and Chair Blakespear absent.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our agenda for the Encinitas Housing Authority. So I'm going to adjourn this meeting, and then we'll have a 20-minute break and come back at 6 p.m. for the City Council meeting. And there's a different link for that. Everybody should have received that.
Yes.
All right, if there are no questions, we are adjourned.
All right,
Right.
thank you, everyone.
I'm sorry, Tony, what were we going to say?
I was going to say that I drove by the Pacific Pines the other day and there was a for sale sign out there. So it's my hope that we're continuing to monitor the opportunity to acquire more units in the Pacific Pines. So I don't know who I need to direct that request to, but maybe the city manager and her staff.
I think that's an excellent suggestion. Too bad we didn't buy more back in the day, but the second best time is now.
Yes.
So, all right. I see Pam writing down some notes, so she's noting that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. If there's nothing else before this authority, we're going to adjourn this meeting and we'll see everybody at 6. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.